I'm Andrea Himoff, Executive Director of Action Utah, and I'm here to take you on a tour of the state capitol. For the participants who are here today, I was just explaining that we are starting here in the Senate cafeteria. This is the East Building. It's right next to the public parking, and public parking is one of the big difficulties during the session, as you guys have noticed this morning. This lot right here is open to the public year-round, so it's a great place when the session is not happening to park, when you have meetings or just want to come up for interim, things like that. But during the session, it's awfully hard to park there. So there's also parking along the streets around the entire Capitol campus, but look out for the parking signs because some of them are only 2-hour parking, some are less, so don't get a ticket and arrive early so that you get your parking spot. So here in the Senate cafeteria, this is open to the public. People can come in and order food. They can meet with advocates. They can meet with legislators. They can just hang out and watch what's happening here. And around the Senate building on the same floor are a bunch of meeting rooms. So these are places where sometimes press conferences happen. The Clean Air Caucus meets in the Copper Room just over here. Action Utah has our weekly lobby days in the Siegel Room just over here. So this is a great jumping off point for a lot of the activities happening here. I'm going to take you over to the lobby of this building. And I love that they've redone this building with nice photos of the history of the construction.
And the utility program.
Hi. Good morning. The reason why this building is called the Senate building is because there are actually Senate offices. They are upstairs. In addition to Senate offices where the senators actually work when they're on campus, there are a couple of meeting rooms. So sometimes you might find there's a committee hearing, either a standing committee or an interim committee throughout the rest of the year, that is in a room called Senate 210, let's say. Senate 210 is just upstairs. And you walk straight through the Senate reception area. This is normal. It is open to the public. And you can even ask directions. People are very nice if you don't know where you're going. So those meetings are all open to the public. And we want people to know that this building here, again, is public. We can be a part of this process. Public meeting rooms are downstairs. Anyone can reserve them. If you have an event that you want to bring up here, we reserve them as well as advocates. All right, now we're going to go out into the snow and see the fountain outside. Join me through the revolving door.
Once a year.
Thank you. Okay, over here on the right side, this is the state offices building. This is where a lot of our state government employees work. There are offices of governor's staff and agencies in this building. There's not a lot of public events that happen here, but there are some public spaces. So every now and then you might see something happening in their auditorium or in the basement, which is down. We've had events in here taken down, and they're going to rebuild over in this section. But for now, it's still here and still functional. And then, of course, we can see the state capitol building barely through the snow this morning. On the other side, we'll go into that building in just a moment. But first I want to show you this beautiful fountain. But the Senate building here is on the east side of campus. Opposite of the Senate building is an identical building. On the west side of campus is a House building. So just like the Senate building has senator offices, the House building has offices for the representatives. And these folks are the part-time elected officials who are not here throughout the year, but they do come constantly to have meetings up here throughout the year. Some folks are more full-time, and they will be in the Senate building, such as House majority staff. They're there full-time. Senate majority staff is full-time. We'll look at that when we go over there. But before we head inside to the Capitol building, I also want to let you know there are committee hearing rooms in the House building as well. Instead of being on the second floor, they're on the basement level. So in the House building, you'll find meeting rooms such as House 25, House 30. Those are all downstairs, and you can enter through those doors. No one's going to ask you what the heck you're doing there. You're allowed to be there. Go down to the basement, and you'll find about 3 committee meeting rooms down there. There's also bathrooms, there's a vending machine, so there's amenities over there as well as in the Senate building. And now we'll head into the state capitol. Yes, good question. There are 29 state senators, 75 state representatives, and we're each represented by one of each, right? So we each have one senator and one representative. The districts overlap, but they aren't the same. So it isn't as specific as one senator has 5 representatives and they're all contained in that person's district. They're all over the place. This is the door that's opened. So one representative might actually have 2 senators in their district.
And the senators work full-time year-round?
They don't. They are also part-time legislators. So there's, legislators can be doctors and lawyers and teachers, real estate developers, dentists, et cetera. They're just regular people like us. And I think that's so important to remember when you're thinking about talking to somebody. It's like, I'm just going up to Mike over here and talking to him about an issue I care about. It's the very same process. And I think it's also important to remember they're part-time because they are not necessarily experts in every issue area. How can any one person be? They don't have any staff throughout the year. They only have one college intern during the legislative session only who, can answer their phones sometimes, but this is really limited staff. And so they can rely on community members to provide good fact-based information or expertise in your field or strong personal stories to help sway their vote and help them really become informed about an issue. So if you can approach them with the idea that I have something to offer to you, I'd like to do it in a civil way so that you really can benefit from the information I have, they very much appreciate that. That makes sense.
What's the dynamic with the other representatives? Just looking at the bill tracker, it seems like certain representatives have certain focuses for their legislation, be it healthcare, clean air, etc.
That can often happen.
So do they then influence the other legislators as being kind of a knowledgeable person about that?
That can often happen. Folks who are doctors often end up on the Health and Human Services Committee, for instance. There are some legislators who have specialized in certain issue areas, like Representative Ward, Representative Harrison. These are doctors, and Representative Daley Provo, who's worked in healthcare advocacy for a long time. When those issues come up, another legislator may come to them and say, you know about this, explain it to me, tell me why I would vote for this, right? Representative Elison, who does a lot of work in suicide prevention, is a go-to person for, that type of issue. Senator Ann Milner, who's worked in education for years, Representative Colson, on education issues are go-to people. So yes, absolutely, there are folks who come to the table with expertise or who have worked in that field as a legislator for a decade or more and have come to be known as someone that other legislators can rely on for good information. Yeah, for sure. Okay, now we've come into what is technically the ground floor. Some event is happening. This is the Hall of Governors. Let's go over and take a look at it real quick, and then we'll go upstairs. There are constantly activities happening at the Capitol. Press conferences, there are school field trips, there are advocacy events trying to draw attention to issues. The last couple days there have been school tables here to teach people about some of the different charter schools and different organizations working on education. It's all kinds of stuff all the time. And again, it's a totally public building. You can do something related to the legislative session or not. It's totally up to you. You get to reserve spaces here just like everybody else. So down here on the basement level, it's also interesting to note there is an office for tourists who just want to learn about this building. They do offer some tours to show you the artwork and talk about the history of the building and stuff like that. So it's kind of a fun activity to take your family here and learn more. Some kids come up here and learn all that fun stuff too at school. But some of it starts right here in the Hall of Governors area downstairs. There's also a basement below us, but that's not really a space that the public needs very much. There's a copy center, for instance, down there. But don't get confused. We're not in the basement. We're on the ground floor. And now we're going to go up to what I consider to be the main floor, but it's actually the second floor of the building. So let's go on up the stairs. For access reasons, you can know there is an elevator over there. Come on up. What we see right now is an event by it looks like Utah Academy of Physician Assistants. This event is happening in the area called the Rotunda. So anything that happens under the dome of the building is the Rotunda. Often there are protests and rallies here, press conferences, and then public events like this. This is a really visible place because from the inside of the Rotunda, you can see the door to the House of Representatives. You can see the door to the Senate chamber, which is directly above us. The Supreme Court is on the far side. Because there's an event going on right there, I don't want us to enter into there, so we're going to kind of go around and go to the House of Representatives first.
We're moving downstream, trying to get upstairs.
It'll work.
Oh, really?
Of the House of Representatives. This is where the 75 representatives meet in order to debate and vote on legislation as an entire body. Right now we're standing in the area which is the lobby before the chamber. The lobby is what gives the name to lobbyists. This is the area where paid lobbyists, advocates, and community members like you can come to call legislators out of their chamber meeting to meet with them.
Oh.
You can see there's a table here on the side. This is where the sergeant at arms will sit. There's two folks will sit. They look just like this gentleman over here, who's one of the sergeant at arms. And their job is to, first of all, direct you if you have questions. They're very kind people who are very happy to help folks who don't know how to do this process. They also have a set of these green sheets right here, and you'll see them on the desk over there, that any individual can fill out if they want to speak to a representative. And you put in your name, your contact information. You let them know that you're standing here at the center door to the chamber. Maybe give them your cell phone number in case they want to text you and say, I'm so sorry, I can't come out, can we talk later, or something like that. And you let them know why you're here. Now, why you're here matters to them. Even if you're here to talk to them about a bill that you know for sure they oppose, you still want to tell them why you're here. You don't want to leave it a surprise. Hey, just wanted to pop in and meet you. They're going to be like, I don't have time for that, right? They will come out and talk to you, even if you're talking about something they oppose, okay? Now, they can't 100% of the time come out because they're doing a job in there. They have to vote. They may need to speak about a bill. They may be presenting a bill. So if they don't come out, don't be personally offended and don't judge them for it. They really have a number one job, and that's their responsibilities inside. But if you've come all this way and you're not able to talk to them, you can also send in a second sheet and say, listen, I had to leave, so sorry I didn't get to reach you, and attach a sheet of paper of what you wanted to talk about. Some good fact-based information so that they can come away with some information from you. Wow, someone came all the way to the Capitol to talk to me and they wanted me to have this information, and then that can help inform their vote as well. So that's also a powerful way to do it. And if you're shy, you say, I come here but I don't actually want to talk in person, do that in the first place. Just attach your one sheet of information and say, I was here, just wanted to make sure you had this to help you with your vote on this bill, right? So this is very powerful. The reason I have a green one and a blue one here is that the green is for the House of Representatives. In the Senate, they use a blue sheet. Okay? So we'll go over and look at that as well, where the Senate is. Upstairs from here, now the doors aren't open because session is in right now. During the rest of the year, these doors are open and you can peek in and see all of the seats. Actually, before we head over there, upstairs there is a gallery, and the gallery is open to the public for you to witness the floor session in progress. So you can go up, take a seat, look down in, watch for as long as you want or as little as you want. You don't have to stay the whole time. You can go in for 1 minute and leave, whatever you want. You come in and out. And you can use one of these sheets of paper, which are available from the Sergeant-at-Arms here at the desk, which shows you a map of which legislators are sitting where. This is very helpful because if you're coming here to lobby someone, it's good to know what they look like. When they come out, there's going to be a whole crowd of people here, and they might look around and say, Mike, Julie, and then they don't hear you, they don't see you, they don't know what you look like, and they'll go right back in and be like, well, I tried, and they're not going to come back out looking for you. So you want to grab them and say, hey, Representative Hall, hey, Representative Spendlove, I'd like to talk to you. And you can look at what they look like, okay? And on the other side is the Senate. Senate, obviously smaller. And the Senate has a gallery upstairs on the 4th floor as well. Now, the other things you should know about in this building are that there are legislator offices on the 4th floor for the folks who are the chairs of different committees. There are House minority, Senate minority, House majority, Senate majority offices in this building. Right over here is the House majority office. You can see the picture of Brad Wilson, the House Speaker, right there next to the door. And so some of our meetings with legislators may take place in some of these other rooms. And one way that you can connect with your legislator is to contact them ahead of your visit, email them, text them, and say, I'm a constituent who have 5 minutes. And they might say, yeah, why don't you meet me at 12:05 in my office? That's another way to meet with them, right? And there are also more committee rooms here in the Senate. So if you are looking at a map and it says this committee hearing is happening in Senate Building 445, that's going to be up on the 4th floor on that end of the building. Okay, and again, ask anybody. People here are very open and friendly towards people who are new and want to help you find your way around. Okay, we're going to walk over towards the Senate so you can see the Senate lobby as well.
See some maps on the desk.
Go ahead and grab one.
If you're here in your role as a citizen, is it only appropriate to reach out to your rep or your senator, or is it appropriate to reach out to anybody?
That's a really good question. You can reach out to any legislator. If you come up here and there's an issue that you're working on that you care about, you are allowed to reach out to anyone. Now, you may make a stronger impact on the folks who do represent you, but there are people who have a vote in all these issues, right? So there may be legislators who are going to be on a committee who's about to hear that bill, and when they're on a committee, they do represent everybody, right? Not only you. But it is important if somebody represents you to be very clear about that. You are my representative. You are my senator. I am your constituent. That really matters to legislators, in person as well as in written communications. And when you're writing to a legislator, don't only say your constituent, also let them know your exact home address, because people say they're a constituent but aren't always, or they might think they're a constituent but they aren't always, and it really matters to these legislators that they know you're a constituent. They really do care what their constituents think first and foremost. Okay? All right, we're going to walk around this direction. Look at this informational board here. There's one for the House and there's one for the Senate. This is where all of today's meetings are going to be posted. You can see exactly what room they're in. So again, committee room 250, committee room 415, 445. These are the folks, these are the places where these meetings are going to take place. This one, you can see, is the Senate Majority Caucus room. So anyway, there's all the different activities that are happening at the Capitol. You'll see listed here and on the Senate board as well. It can happen when sometimes they change the schedule if they want to do more floor sessions for a reason. Sometimes they'll just say, you know what, we don't have enough to talk about right now. We're going to wait and hold off. We've got a caucus meeting that's going to run long, things like that. But a lot of what's happening today is in appropriations. So you'll see here's the appropriations committees. This board right here. These are joint, so senators and representatives meet together. And that's what's happening right now. And those are all morning meetings right now. In the afternoon, there's only about 4 standing committee meetings, but then there's also other commissions that have wanted to meet. Those are the kinds of things that can get canceled pretty easily sometimes. There's also a screen here. You're going to see screens throughout the Capitol on this floor. These screens will show you a lot of information. Sometimes they'll show you this one. I love this screen. The most visited bills on the web. Look, universal background checks for firearm purchases is number 1. That's what people are looking at the most on the website. Number 3 was the tax reform repeal bill that passed yesterday. So it's interesting to see what is going on here. And in addition, these screens can also show us a view of the state legislative website that will live stream the floor hearings with video, and it will record live audio of the committee hearings happening so people can participate from home if they're not up here. But if you're out here to lobby and you can't tell what they're talking about inside, visit a screen and you'll see which legislator is speaking, what bill they're talking about. You can bring your smartphone or tablet or computer and plug in some earphones and listen in while you're standing outside so you know where they're at. Like, say if one of the representatives you want to speak to is about to present a bill, it might be good to know if they're talking, because they're not going to be able to come out and speak to you if they're talking, right? So, okay, let's walk over and see the Senate floor over here. Good morning. Good. This gentleman here is a sergeant at arms for the Senate. You'll notice he's wearing a different color coat than for the House. Yep. The House is wearing khaki coats this year, the Senate's wearing black. And this gentleman has the blue sheets of paper somewhere. There they are, that we talked about before. Same idea as the green sheets. He also has the maps. In the front here, these are copies of the weekly schedule. If you're wondering when the committee meetings are happening, there's one for the Senate and one for the House. And he also has a canister of candy, you might notice over here. So feeling a little low on sugar, come visit this gentleman. In the Senate, the door in the middle here will show the Senate chamber. The senators are divided in half. And so you'll see that there's a list of the senators here who this gentlemen can access, and there's a list of the senators who are accessed from the second desk on the other side. If you get it wrong, don't worry. They'll say, oh, no, take that to the other side. They're very kind about this process. And here is the lobby where the lobbyists will wait for a senator to call them in when they're ready to speak. Again, the doors are closed, so you can't peek in, but this is where the screen is, so you'll find out what's happening in the Senate right now. So, I believe the galleries are closed at the moment, so upstairs is where you enter the galleries on the 4th floor. The stairs are right here. The elevator also can take you to the 4th floor. That's where you can peek in. So, that is essential. Those are the most essential parts. It's also helpful to note that there are bathrooms in this building. On the 2nd floor in this direction, on the 4th floor in both directions. And so that's nice. There's a coat rack over here. If you found and what else is here that's helpful? The Supreme Court does meet over on the far side. It's not very often that happens, but that is a room that's accessible to the public. And there's a very beautiful room. I think we should go down and pass that on our way out, called the Gold Room. Let's go there next. In the state capitol building are activities related around the lieutenant governor's office, the attorney general's office, which are all located on this floor of the building. And this room, which is sort of a ceremonial room called the Gold Room. Sometimes there are museum displays in here. Last year they had the Golden Spike on display in here. Sometimes there's press conferences, like the Clean Air Caucus holds their annual press conference in this room. And the governor does ceremonial bill signings in this room. So, for instance, in 2018, when we passed the first climate resolution in a red state in America, this is where the governor ceremonially signed that bill. And we got to take beautiful pictures. It's a lovely environment. So let's go in and take a quick peek at it. Quite ornate. So the last thing I want to leave you with at the end of the tour is the idea that this building is truly called the People's House. And the seal above the speaker's desk in the chamber of the House of Representatives says just that. This is the voice of the people, the house of the people, and the people get to be a part of this process. This building is open 7 days a week to the public. It's not open 24 hours a day to the public because that would put a lot of onerous effort on the staff. But it is open to the public, and you are allowed to be here. You are allowed to listen in from here or online into all these public meetings. You're allowed to participate. You're allowed to testify. You're allowed to talk to your representative anytime. This is your process, and you pay for this. So be sure to have a voice in this process. Okay? I'll leave you here if you guys want to wander around, or we're going to head back to the Senate cafeteria ourselves. I can walk you back in that direction, but thank you so much for being part of this tour.
That's great.